Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. It is July 11th, 2025 and the time is 5:09 p.m. Thanks for being here, everybody. Let us tap right in and see what storyline Spirit would like to share with us. Storyline for the collective, please, Spirit. Storyline for the collective. Death to conflict. In the central position, we have the King of Cups. The love of divine masculine is here. In the challenge position, Tower. Tower. Sudden change. Release. In the subconscious, we've got the Hierophant. The divine. In the recent past, we've got the Knight of Cups. A proposal. Intentions and expectations. Five of Wands. So somebody was making a heartfelt proposal here with the intention of creating conflict. In the near future. We've got the Fool, so you got a new beginning here. Recuperation, planning for the future. The lens that's being looked through. Ten of Wands. You're almost there. Completion is in sight. Keep going. In the environment, well, this came out and then it flipped into the reverse. So we've got an Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Somebody's being greedy. They're not willing to work for anything. They're very vain. Hopes and fears. Nine of Pentacles. A life of luxury and the fruits of your labor. This person wants to take your life of luxury. They're very greedy. They're not willing to put in the effort to legitimately come about this. They're a thief. Your boundaries are firm here. And the outcome? Celebration. Three of Cups, celebration. In the community, Queen of Swords is here with the truth. And there's some folks getting let go. She knows the truth about some things. And there is a bunch of release happening here. Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles are here together, looking at the history of the Temperance Angels. Queen of Wands is determined to live her life, and she's here with the Sun energy, a rebirth, all is well. So Divine Feminine, very passionate for living. And this devil is look, they're trying to negotiate. This devil is trying to negotiate, but they've been bringing conflict to unions, to the intimate encounters between men and women. Now they want to negotiate. This devil. They're in regret because they got to move on. They have lost the Empress. She's in her chariot, man, and justice is being served. She's leaving, and that's justice. The law of cause and effect is in order, and those who were being dishonest and brutalizing Divine Feminine are in a nightmare. They're full of anxiety, and they're worried because the truth is out and judgment is being called. They're getting disconnected. So King of Cups is here. The love of Divine Masculine. Balanced and compassionate. Well, we've got the moon in the upright. Well, I don't know what this is. We've got the King of Cups here, and we've got the moon. So there is illusion, or there's fear and anxiety. The challenge is the Tower. This came out and then it flipped into the reverse. Four of Wands in the reverse. So they're in a tower because they were bringing conflict with others in the community, in the territory, on the home front. For unions, it looks like this King of Cups is a player, not a lover. He's in a tower. He could have lost his home. Getting kicked out of the territory, getting kicked out of the home. The Hierophant is here, looking at this situation. They're thinking about this Hierophant, who could be the Most High God. Maybe they're praying. I don't know, but they're in fear. It looks like they're in fear. The Hierophant is here, managing multiple decisions, making multiple decisions regarding union, love, balance, duality. Knight of Cups, making a heartfelt proposal there in the recent past. Again, we've got, so yeah, he was making a heartfelt proposal with the intention of bringing a 5 of Wands to whoever his lover was or is. And also coming out again is the 7 of Swords and a sacrifice. So it's like he was making a love offer so that he could bring conflict and betray somebody and unalive them. He wanted to bring conflict. So he wanted to get an intimate partner so that he could unalive them. What? Be covered by their love? Dressing up in somebody else's love? All he's got to do is F around, right? Freaking nasty. Nasty. Justice is in the reverse on this conflict. So there's punishment or there's a dishonesty. There's a lack of accountability. This person is a real creep. You've got a King of Cups and a Knight of Cups in the upright, causing illusion and betraying somebody so that they could sacrifice them. The intention was to compete. There's a punishment here. To bring conflict, to punish somebody. These ones are they're in the mode and the mood to punish divine feminine. Because they're in a tower. They're getting kicked out of the territory. They want to punish divine feminine because the Most High is here on their behalf. Look, there's punishment based on the history. So the expectation is that this person bringing conflict is going to get punishment because they were unfair and they lacked accountability in the history. You've got a new beginning here and you are planning for the future. This is over. Death. You got a new beginning. You're planning for the future. This is the end of the cycle. 10 of Wands is here though. Could be a completion of the burden. Keep going. 4 of Pentacles. It could be that because this is the end and you're entering into a new chapter, you got a new beginning, that somebody else is in a 10 of Wands burden when it comes to the foundation. They're in scarcity now. They've lost you. They've lost the Empress. And they're vain. They don't want to work for anything. They're extremely lazy and greedy and cruel. They're offering a freaking love cup to somebody so that they can betray them and then sacrifice them. What the hell kind of love cup is that? Freaking jerk is going to get punished. This is the end of that freaking habitual pattern. What an ass. So we got some greedy, vain, lazy jerks here experiencing some restrictions. You're coming into the fruits of your labor. Your boundaries are firm. You're very resilient here. And you got a 2 of Cups union. So yeah, whoever this is, these lover boys, they only get to be with somebody that they envy so that they can lure them in with their wand, lust, pretend love, so that they can unalive people. What a disgusting freaking creature that is. Are you kidding me? A woman or a man opens up their most sacred essence to you under the pretense that it's a true love offer, and you turn around and betray them and sacrifice them. And you wonder why everybody has chosen celibacy. That's just freaking disgusting. There's a celebration here, 3 of Cups for the community. You're getting your life of luxury. Those people who didn't work for Jack, those people who are just vain, greedy, little brutalizing bastards, they're getting bound. They're getting bound. So we've got the King of Cups here. There's a celebration in the community for the King of Cups. Now, we're going to get more clarification because the King of Cups is also here. Let us see what's going on. We've got the Nine of Wands again. So you have firm boundaries. You and your team have firm boundaries, and you've also got the Three of Cups. So we've got firm boundaries out here twice. There's a whole team working with it, and there's a celebration for this new beginning. Again, you're making plans for the future because you have so many choices. You've worked very, very hard, and you have clear understanding of what you got going on here. And there's some travel plans. Like, you guys are planning on getting together soon. Union and love. Coming into the fruits of your labor very quickly and very strongly. This is really, it's almost over. There's some stuff happening. The mentality, man. Surrounded by enemies, and they're supposed to be foundation keepers. They're supposed to be husbands and brothers and fathers. They're supposed to be protectors of the family unit, and they turn around and F people that they plan on unaliving for profit. It's so sick the way they twisted their whole, all of them, man, all of them, blaming divine feminine for their nastiness. Lure her in with a love cup, sacrificing her and convicting her of being a prostitute. So let's see here. We got King of Cups. There is illusion. Something's hidden. He may be having premonitions. We've got courage here. The challenge is there's a tower and transience. So there's a tower, there's a kicking off the homeland, the home front. Get out of the house, get off the land, don't ever come back. Whoa. Freedom. But I got to put it back because it came out and it hit my arm and flipped into the reverse, so it could very well be freedom in the reverse, but let me go ahead and pull a different card. So we got... It's a service. Okay. So the King of Cups is here in service, bringing a tower and kicking people out and off the territory, off the land, out of the house. He's offering a service. He's very courageous when it comes to the illusionists. So he's meeting them head on, and he's doing so with a heart full of love. Somebody's having anxiety, or maybe he's having a little bit of anxiety. This is a tough job. The Most High is here, the Hierophant is here, managing multiple priorities, and we've got friendship. So, you know, there could be a group of people. We saw that, the three of, we saw that, the Three of Pentacles here. So people are working together. So there could be friends. So this Knight of Cups is making a proposal so that he can betray somebody and sacrifice them. We've got fear in the reverse. This Knight of Cups could be a trickster who is being released, and you're not afraid of that. Take it as it resonates. Expectation is a Five of Wands. Conflict is going to get punished for the history. The Lord said, or some divine masculine stated, that the need for vengeance is in the history. Worried. They're worried. They're worried because you've got a new beginning. You're making plans for the future. You're recovering from all this betrayal, and this is the end. With the Death card, this is the end of a cycle. We've got indecision. Somebody doesn't know what to do. These people who are getting punishment right now, we've got they could be in a Ten of Wands burden for trying to control the foundation. They could be in a state of scarcity right now, trying to hold on, doing their best to hold on, but the truth is out. The truth is out. They are greedy, vain. They don't work for anything. They're being bound. They're being restricted, imprisoned. And it's a lot quieter this morning. So it looks like some of those people who were telepathically connected through cyberware or whatever, it's been like deactivated. And I thought I heard the nefarious ones talking about some sort of a deactivation. It's like they're the cyberware is being deactivated. So yeah, they're greedy, they're vain, they don't work for jack. They do it like this. They hurt other people and take what they have. Playing the game of love. So they're being restricted, and you're successful here. You're successfully restricting somebody who is vain. You know that there's no greater goal than to love. You've got a Nine of Pentacles. Fruits of your labor, life of luxury is coming for you. Nine of Wands, you're courageous, you're persistent, you're resilient, and you're in a partnership, marriage here. Somebody isn't finding any peace with that. They're afraid of that. See, they wanted your success. They wanted the fruits of your labor. They wanted your life of luxury. They wanted to be seen as you, a chosen one who happens to love people, but they're being restricted, and they have no peace. There is a community celebration, and the King of Cups is there on the outgoing energy, but we've got growth in the reverse. You're an abundant, limitless being, and you've got your freedom here. Relationships that serve the higher good. Someone envies your love, your ability to love, and they're in regret over being found guilty of whatever it was that they were doing. They were disciplined in messing with your mind. On the regular, they were running crap through your mind out of pride. And they're under judgment, and they need to surrender their need to control consciousness and energy. They got to leave you alone. There's death here. And they failed. They failed. They're wanting forgiveness from you empath, you who care about people, but you trust the inner voice. You've got gifts that benefit you and others, and your health and your gratitude. And these ones have to accept the things they cannot change. They're being denied. You're not giving them forgiveness. You're stepping into your purpose. There is a change. They stole your identity and your life from you, and now they want to ask for forgiveness. How many thousands of years has this been going on? It's just crap. They're in grief because you actually persevered this round, and you're happy. You're happy. Looking at the lighter side of life. And those who are bringing adversity to you are filled with doubt, because divine order is here. And they have to accept responsibility for their own well-being. They were trying to blame you, but you stayed balanced. You stayed balanced and you stayed inwardly harmonious, and there's nothing they can do about that. They couldn't make their stuff stick to you because you didn't shatter. Like, they meant to just destroy your heart and your emotions and stick you into some form of, you know, really awful heartbreak. Maybe they did it one too many times and you just don't respond the same way you once did. It's become the norm. It's the norm. This is what they do. You've just come to expect it. Greed. So the King of Cups is here dealing with those illusionists, and he's got courage here in the face of those who are greedy. Somebody who is pursuing wealth and power by causing illusion. They're in a tower. They're getting kicked out of the land. They're getting kicked out of the territory, out of the garden. This is a service that this King of Cups looks like he's providing here. He's offering sage advice to the greedy ones. It's like, look, you got to go, but here you go. You know, maybe you should do this. We got the Hierophant here handling multiple priorities, and we got friendship. Friends are here for a reason. We got health in the reverse. Somebody is losing their health. Somebody's sick. Somebody is sick. Somebody's lost you. You're no longer going to be part of their health and wellness journey. They can't pull off of you anymore. Knight of Cups, betraying people. They could have offered a love cup in order to betray somebody, to trick them so that they could be sacrificed. We've got fear in the reverse here. You're not afraid of it. You're saying goodbye. Yeah. This Knight of Cups, in the recent past, wanted to betray somebody with a love cup and a Seven of Swords so that they could hanged man them. But you're not afraid. You said goodbye. Those who are bringing conflict in this manner are receiving a punishment for the history of this type of thing, and they're worried about it. They're worried about it. Look, we've got desperation in the reverse. They could not bring you. Look, and this is revenge. This says they're worried. Desperate says, I'm in a bind and I don't have anyone else to reach out to. So, they couldn't bind you. You're not in a bind. You're not desperate. They couldn't make you desperate. And there's revenge happening right now. There's a punishment for this Knight of Cups who was using his sexual, intimate encounters to lure people in so that they could then betray them and sacrifice them. This person is getting vengeance delivered to them right now. They don't know what to do about it. They're getting death. They're getting death while you get a new beginning and you get a plan for your new beginning, and these little cowards are going away. They're eating up all kinds of revenge right now. They sabotage their own damn self. They don't know what to do because they sabotage themselves. They're in a Ten of Wands burden. They're living in scarcity because the truth is, look, the truth is out. Because the truth is revealed. They have vilified the reputation of the father while normalizing, prostituting the divine feminine energy, and then sacrificing them or doing something to them so that they fall into South Node and take on suffering for their profit. What a freaking lowlife. Greedy, vain, lazy. They're getting restricted, and it's a successful restriction. They're no longer going to be able to bring chaos to you. No more chaos. They're being bound. You've got your Nine of Pentacles here. You're resilient, you're persistent, you're here with the Two of Cups union, connected and unified. We've got peace in the reverse. So those who are being restricted and they're bound, they can no longer bring chaos to those who know that there's no greater goal than to love. These are just F-boys. They're demons, man. They're murderous F-boys and girls, you know, whatever. So they're not at peace. They took unsolicited advice, or they need it. They took the advice of somebody that was certain they knew the best, and it did not lead to peace. It's like now, it's like, there's a celebration within the community. King of Cups is here, balanced. We've got growth in the reverse, and then we've got growth in the upright. Emotionally balanced, diplomatic leader, tolerant and empathic. It's like he's looking to see who has expanded in consciousness and awareness and who hasn't. It could be that he's also looking for any kind of attachments that may be on people, like those who have a growth on them, like some sort of a attachment, an energetic attachment, and who doesn't. It could be that he's removing growths. Or he's just calling out who has advanced and who hasn't. Take it as it resonates. We'll get more clarification. Somebody's getting some bad news and they want to apologize. You have great news. You're an empath. So they got bad news. They want to apologize. They want to come in and apologize because, you know, they figure that you're an empath. Maybe you'll care about them. You got a new tribe in your future, a new family tree. Somebody wants to get something off their chest. They're coming in, acting friendly. They may want to share some kind of an amusing story. They want to check in with some kind of a secret, but it's a trick. So if they come in saying they want to work with you, or they want to share some kind of information with you, and they want to like work with you, this is a trick. Okay? If they come forward with a date and then they ask you for a small favor, yeah, they need a loan. And they're very negative. They're hiding their true intentions. They don't actually care about your well-being, and they're an imposter. They're not who you think they are. So they're coming in very hostile and curious about your safe space. They want to be welcomed into your safe space, but they're a freaking hostile brutalizer. They laughed at you, and now they need your support. And they're uncertain because they feel obligated to deal with you because they're out. They have nothing. They're in dire straits. They need to associate with you. They're yelling. They're unhappy. They're coming forward, apologizing. They don't want to because they envy you so damn bad, but they need a big favor. So they're going to come in and they're going to ask about your perspective. And then they've been bragging about their lies against you. They lied about you. They bragged about it. And they still want to come in and associate with you, even though they really despise you. They need you. They need to get in there so that they can betray you and then sacrifice you, so that they can make you suffer for their lack. One of the things the Divine stated over a year ago was that these ones forced Divine Feminine into a position of servant. When the Divine Feminine brings forth life and then nurtures them in service, making certain that they have what they need. But the Foundation Keeper is supposed to give her a safe space and the supplies needed to do that. But instead of doing that, they brought chaos to the foundation, and they took everything away from her, and then, you know, piled all of their blame, all of their shame, all of their nasty little hoe business on them, and made them wear that energy, while shaming them, while hurting them, while making them feel like they weren't even as valuable as a dog. These people are terrible. They're not human. I don't care if they're in a human suit or not. Whatever species this particular masculine set of life forms is, they're not human. And we've got divine masculine here, dealing with these illusions with courage, dealing with these greedy little mofos without ethical or moral values. He's bringing them a tower. It's a service that he's providing. Look, the greedy one wants to apologize now. He's got to get the heck off the land. They're in fear, and they're being met with love and courage. It's like, you got to get out of here, greedy one. You have no ethics. You have no morals. You're very vicious to the mother who births your child. You know, and these ones, they go out and they impregnate everybody. Like, they just screw around making babies. Why? Because then they can tap into that spiritual inheritance that belongs to that child. They don't care about the children. They just want what comes with it. And if they can't have a spiritual, then they want the energy, the vitality. They want to be covered in the light of and the blessing of a baby or a young child. And they brutalize these things. And it's terrible. These are not men. These are not fathers. These are parasites. Needless feeders. And I can't believe that, you know, the poor freaking divine feminine has been out here connecting with this vermin. The Hierophant is here making decisions regarding union and love and friendship. Somebody is sick. Somebody is sick over the gift. You're the gift. You're getting promotion. They could be sick about you being a gift. Knight of Cups here, betraying people with a love offer just so that they can sacrifice them. You're not afraid of this person and you're saying goodbye. Get out. Get the hell out. So, look, you've reached your goals. You have a new commitment. You're saying goodbye to lover boy here, who isn't even a lover. He's a lustful, murderous POS. So you've reached your goal. You've got a new commitment and a new contract. Those who are bringing conflict with love in mind, they're getting punished. They're worried because vengeance is here. They couldn't make you desperate. You have no fear. You're just like, get out of here. Conflict. They're in the midst of conflict. They're fighting for their lives right now. But they're gonna be getting death because they sabotage their own damn self. They could have loved you for who you are, but instead they chose to be a violent, needless presence in the realm. Nobody needs this kind of crap. They're absolutely unnecessary. Look, loss. They cannot cause you a loss. They sabotage themselves, and this is over. They got to get the heck out. They're not causing you a loss. You get a new beginning, and you get rest and relaxation as you plan for your future. They're in a Ten of Wands burden. They're in scarcity. They got kicked off of the foundation, out of the garden. So now they're in a Four of Pentacles because we've got honesty out here twice. Everybody knows the truth. So they're in scarcity now. Oh, they got to go learn a lesson. And deal with the nightmare that they are. The truth of it. The truth of it. They got to go deal with the absolute truth. There's two of them here. Big, huge truths. Blaring truths are out here. They got to go deal with this nightmare that you already learned your lesson for. So, you know, and it used to make me so mad, these brutalizers. She's got to learn her lesson. And you know why? Because, see, they brutalize people, and then they unalive them and take the initiation reward by tapping into the consciousness and trapping them in a lower state. Then they assume the identity and they walk along tapped in to the mind of somebody that they sacrificed, who they forced into extreme suffering, and then they unalive them right before it's time to get the reward. But they couldn't unalive you. You're still here, and the truth is out about it. So they're like screwed. They're like screwed. They're in a freaking nightmare because you learned a lot, and not only that, you are sharing it with everybody else. These little tactics. They're in a freaking nightmare. They're greedy. They're lazy. They don't work for anything. They misdirect people. It's all about effing their way to the top and effing people over and hurting others. They're being restricted, and it's successful. They can no longer bring chaos to anybody. They're just flat out mean. There's no need for them to be here. It's time. So there's a schedule here. You're right on schedule. Moving into your life of luxury. Your boundaries are firm. You're very resilient and persistent. You are here with your Two of Cups union. And these ones, they took some unsolicited advice. They're not in peace. And this is the history. So in the past, they took unsolicited advice on how to steal your peace. But you're doing just fine. They can't bring you any more chaos. They're getting exactly what they wanted for you. While you get a community celebration, King of Cups, love of divine masculine, it's like he's separating. He's separating out those who have expanded in consciousness and awareness, those who have grown and lived and learned through the nightmare, and those who haven't. It's like he's separating them out with love. Disturbance. Well, somebody's having a freaking nightmare over your growth. It could be seen that they did not, oh look, magic. Those who were tempted to do magic are dying. So we've got growth. He's looking. So who grew, who actually graduated, and who didn't? Who brought mental disturbances to people and stopped their growth? Who ran insanity through the minds of the collective and then took them out so that they could gain the reward of a successful initiation and pretend to be that person? It could be that they're mentally disturbed, man. So yeah, they were bribed, they were tempted, and they did magic on people to unalive them with mental disturbances. And it could very well be that the King of Cups is here looking at this scenario with love, and he's like, okay, you obviously did not grow. You spent all your time causing death and suffering for people, and now this is your reward. You're going to go get a whole lot of freaking mystery, blowing smoke right up your rear end. And in every orifice you're going to hear stuff, you're going to feel stuff. That's a vow. There's a vow for justice to be served. You have honored your vow. You've triumphed over this. Justice is being served here. You're coming into your reward. Look, you did this blind. You didn't know what the hell was going on, but you made it through anyway. And you have alliances here who see you as trustworthy and honest, and they are also. And you've reached your goal. You've reached your goal. Somebody's confused because you're at peace and you're having sweet dreams. while the bully is getting rejected, they're going through withdrawals. These people are addicted to your energy. They have no life energy in them. They're actually like vampiric beings. There's no life in them. The only way that they can feel good is if they can throw their death energy onto you and suck up your life energy. For their strategy, they're going to be cast away. Their mind reading strategies, they're getting cast away. Because they were using prayer work against people who actually care about family, wearing masks. They were pretending like they were religious. They were pretending like they cared about family, but it was all a mask so that they could go out and screw people up. And now they're having mental issues. They're mentally disturbed. All that magic, all that mental magic that they've been putting into the world, that insanity magic, it's back on them now. And everybody who collaborated with this coach is frightened now, paranoid. Because they tried to trap a peaceful, easy, loving person, a high value person. They're going to get confined. They're going to lose their freedom because this one who earned their merit, they earned they earned it, man. They suffered decades, lifetimes. And every time these guys would come up and take it. But guess what? This time the sweetheart persevered. And those who tried to rob and those who have been robbing, they're falling sick. They're not going to survive. You're getting aid, you're getting charity, or they need aid. They're protesting the assistance that you're getting. They're furious that eternal love is here and that they will be the new guides. They'll have a business, they'll have a home, they'll have land. They get to, they're the new coaches. They get to share their experiences about how they overcame all this magic, what they needed to do to elevate their energetic expression and connect to the divine, and how to be a decent human being, managing your own self through other people's attempts to dominate you. So we've got saving a network of friends who have the halo, the Christed beings, are worth saving. There's a whole bunch of them there, connected in the mind, connected telepathically. And somebody doesn't want to hear it, man. They're sick and they're lonely about it. You've got a new family tree. Those who love themselves into wellness. I mean, when the whole world is trying to bury you and the whole world is lying on you and about you, all you can really do is love yourself and say, I don't have to believe what the world tells me about me. So you're getting a new family tree. You've got your vital force. You've got your full energy. And this is the conclusion. You gain the fruits of your labor. You gain the fruits of your labor. And those who are causing illusions in the mind about you are overwhelmed by accidents. They're in danger with supernatural disturbances, natural disasters. They got to get ready for it. And it could be that you are making preparations for a 3D marriage or some other kind of marriage. You may be already spiritually wed, but it's going to be happening again. Those third-party enemies, they're getting separated out of the energy because there's evidence of what they've been doing. It's all in the history. Third wheel enemies trying to steal the fate of families. True, blue, loyal family who actually care about the children, about their spouse. Yeah, these prideful people were working real hard to gain your blessing and your promise. The curses that they sent out on you are being stopped. They're going back. It's a boomerang effect. And that's good news. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. God's working a miracle. He's like, enough is a freaking enough. This is enough. It's enough. It's over. There's vengeance here. The Lord is bringing vengeance. upon waking this morning, the last vision that I had before I opened my eyes was it was like I was up on a hill, like a big hill off in the distance, and when I looked, I was looking into a city. And the city, it had tall buildings and such, but everything was gray. Like there was no color, there was no life. It was just very dull, and everything was gray. So it was like a city of the dead or something. I don't know. There was no life there. So maybe that's where these ones are going to go. They're going to go to a place where there's no energy that they can siphon. They're going to have to become what it is they need, or not. I don't know. But there was a city. There was light. There was light, but everything was gray. King of Cups is handling the illusionists in this moon energy with courage. The greedy ones want to apologize. Pleasure seeker in the reverse. Yeah, we're not dealing with any more pleasure seekers. He's busting the illusions wide open. He's looking into this, and we're not dealing with any greedy pleasure seekers anymore. They want forgiveness, of course. They're in a tower and they're getting kicked out of the garden, out of the land, out of the territory. This is a service that the love of Divine Masculine is providing. He's offering them sage advice. I heard Divine Masculine will actually say to them to go seek wise counsel, that their Savior did not save them. So these masculines, apparently there was a Savior for these perverted little RAPists, murderous, venomous jerks, and there was a prophecy for the feminine, is what I'm gathering. Sweetheart, sweetheart, he could be a sweetheart. He's in service to the sweetheart. He's offering sage advice to a sweetheart. These pleasure seekers, they're done. The Hierophant is here, managing priorities regarding friendship. Somebody is sick over your gift and over money. There might be friends here that are sick. Their health is failing. Waiting. So Knight of Cups, making a love cup offer so that they can betray somebody and then sacrifice them. They're not afraid. They're saying goodbye. They've reached their goal and they have a new commitment. They're waiting for something. These people who are bringing conflict are being punished. They could not make you desperate. You in your patience and you're waiting on God's timing, you just settled and stayed, and now they were bringing conflict to you, and they could not make you desperate. So now they're getting a punishment, and they're worried because there's a lot of fighting going on. Vengeance is being spilled out onto them because of their history of this kind of crap here with their love connection. You know what makes me sick? Is that these ones are running around out there like they're chosen. They're gods. Spreading their seed and their diseases everywhere, willy-nilly. not committing to anybody, not taking care of the children that they create. In fact, they abuse the children because they feel that they own them and every ounce of life that's running through their little body. And all the spiritual inheritance that comes with that being when they birth into this realm. They look at the flesh, they do not look at the spirit. They cause havoc for a spirit, and they don't even know who's birthing into these bodies. You know, they just assume that because it's a breathing thing that it belongs to them. I created it, it's mine. Well, no, bullshit. You know, the spiritual and the soul essence inside that flesh suit does not belong to you. Never did. We've got constancy. So they were consistently doing this, and it could be that they're going to have constant conflict in their future. The divine stated that if you wish to put violence into the world, a world of violence you shall have. And it looks like that's what they're going to get. You got a new beginning. You're resting and you're relaxing, making plans for the future. They could not cause you a loss. There's death here. This is the ending of this cycle. They don't know what to do. They sabotage themselves. And they're sighing. Feeling sorry for themselves. They're in a 10 of Wands burden, experiencing scarcity. The truth is out here twice. And now it's time for them to experience what they've been putting out into the world, this nightmare. It's time for them to learn a lesson. And we got consolation in the reverse. So their prayers are not being answered. They're in a nightmare. They're suffering. I suffered tremendous mental suffering. They were running insanity through my mind for over 20 years. It was crazy, man. Trying to live a sane life. I mean, it wasn't my stuff. It was like this freaking soap opera they kept running through my mind of chaos. They were running chaos through the mind of somebody who knows that there's no greater goal than to love, and they can't do that to people anymore. It's a ridiculous habitual pattern that they have been doing for profit. And then they've been lying to God about people, saying they're insane, they can't take care of themselves, they don't manage themselves, look at how awful they are. Well, they did it. It's like cyberware. Vain, greedy, cruel. They're experiencing some restrictions. They can no longer run chaos through the minds of people that know that there is no greater goal than to love. It's a successful mission, and we've got schedule here. There's a plan. A plan. We got thought. Somebody's all up in their thoughts about this schedule, about what's going on. You've got your life of luxury here, resilient, boundaries are firm, 2 of Cups, partnership and marriage. Somebody, look, you're in service here, and it could be that somebody's not at peace. They took unsolicited advice. They were trying to strip peace out of the world, and that's the history there. That was their service. But you came together anyway. And they're restricted. Community celebration. You've grown. You've got your fortune here. You've grown. You've got your fortune. And we've got this King of Cups is, he knows who he's it's like he's looking here. Who grew, who didn't grow. Who did not grow is experiencing mental disturbances, supernatural disturbances, because all that death magic and mind insanity magic is back on them. They're not taking part in the wedding. They're not part of the bride. They're not part of the church. They're not part of the wedding. They're sick. They're sick. Of course they are. All the death magic is back on them. All that mental disturbance is back on them. They didn't grow. They don't have any light. They're not able to recover like you did. So we've got happiness here with cheerfulness. The enemy is seen to be false. The honesty is out here twice. And you are seen to be faithful. There's a priest soldier here using scholar, he's a scholar, using secret information and stuff. They wanted to sell this wife to the merchant. There's widower here. They're looking, so you know what they're thinking about unaliving this wife. They're planning an unaliving is what they're doing. They want to hijack her. They want to get her. So there's a lover here with a messenger, and it's a surprise. They want to step in as your spiritual, as your divine spouse. So just be wary of that. Got some scumbag coming up, waving his wand around, offering you a love cup. It's a disgusting, mentally disturbed person who has got a whole bunch of death magic on them, and they're desperate to lay it on you. So King of Cups, divine masculine, who's actually loving, is going after these lustful little murderous bastards. They're doing the karmic return right now. They're doing the karmic return. They're kicking them out of the garden. They don't belong there. They don't have any, you can tell a lot by a person by how they view the world and those those supposedly lesser beings. King of Cups is here with courage and confidence, dealing with the illusionists. The greedy ones want to apologize. There's no more pleasure seeking going on here. Pleasure seekers are getting flipped up on their head. It's like, no, you don't get to come. Look, we got play. We're not playing with the pleasure seekers. No more. They were playing around. They had a great old time. For centuries, they had a great time. Now they're in a tower. They're getting kicked out of the garden. This is a service that's being provided for the sweetheart. Or then could be sage advice going on too, a fresh perspective. Maybe they have a fresh perspective because of being linked up with a sweetheart. Maybe they see the divine feminine as a sweetheart. These RAPing, filthy little hoe bag masculines really cast a lot of illusions regarding the feminine. She's the gift. Heart bond. So it looks like the King of Cups has a heart bond with a sweetheart, and he's got a different perspective about what's been going on here. He's in service. It could be that he's offering sage advice to these pleasure seekers, or he's just kicking them to the curb. Hierophant is here. Could be the Most High God working with the divine masculine who is actually loving. There's some sort of friendship here that is sick over your gifts and your money. Sacred space. You know, and it could be too that the Hierophant is here removing illness, removing sickness. Out of the sacred space. He's removing the sickness out of this sacred space. Those mentally disturbed, magical warlocks, witches, whatever, that have been throwing out death magic onto innocent, unsuspecting people who actually only wanted to have a loving relationship with them, but they were tricking them, deceiving them, and then sacrificing them once they got a contract or a relationship. These are the lowest level disgusting excuses for masculinity ever. I can't even believe it. As long as I am in this realm, I will never entertain any of them ever again. It's disgusting. Sorry, I'm waiting till I get to go home. Now that I know, I mean, I'm old and I don't need it anyway, but it's like now that I know what they are, it's like, no. Knight of Cups making proposals so that they could betray whoever they got the relationship with and then sacrifice them. You're not afraid. You're saying goodbye. You've reached your goal. You've got a new commitment. You're waiting for it. You've got a bunch of abundance coming in. You have a heart bond with the sweetheart, King of Cups does. And those who are bringing conflict to this sweetheart and to this King of Cups, both of them are sweethearts. They're getting punishment. You're not desperate. They're getting punishment. They're worried about this revenge. They were constantly bringing you chaos, conflict. And now in the history, there was a constant effort of them using their wand in sexual relationship in order to bring conflict to the sweetheart, divine feminine. And now the Lord or God is delivering vengeance. Don't get involved in it, would be my suggestion. Wait for them all to be cleared off the foundation before you think about accepting a love cup. It looks to me like you've already got a spiritual spouse. So just wait for it all to settle down. There's death here. They sabotage themselves. Commitment. So these ones were constantly bringing conflict to their commitments. They were brutalizing the one who accepted their love cup. Now you got a new beginning. You're planning for the future. They could not cause you a loss. They're getting death, is what they're getting. They're getting death. They don't know what to do. They sabotage their own damn selves. They're sighing. They're upset. Illusionists. Mirror magic. And they're sighing, see, and they're here looking out over the waters. It's like you're gone. You're out of there. They're in a 10 of Wands burden. They're experiencing scarcity. We've got the whole truth and nothing but the truth is out here. And now they have to go learn some lessons. They have to go live through darkness. They have to go live through a severe nightmare. And their prayers will not be answered. Decades, lifetimes. They were bragging about how centuries the light-bearing people have been fueling their illusions. They thought it was so funny. They thought we were so weak. They didn't believe in God. But lifetime after lifetime, self-interest. They got to take care of their own damn self. They got to go take care of themselves. It's like the territory here is being split. It's being divided. They have to go take care of themselves now. They don't get to come over on your side anymore. It's like there's a beam of light separating you now. They can't cross it. They're vain, they're greedy, lazy, and they're being restricted. They can no longer bring you chaos. You're successful in that endeavor. There's a schedule here, and somebody's all up in their thoughts about ghosts. They may be getting haunted in their thoughts. So now it's time for the dead to run insanity through their mind. There's death here. Maybe they're going to go get to live with the dead now, because they technically are. They're vampiric. So, and that's one thing when I was asking who this was, many years ago, the divine showed me a couple coffins. So it was the dead. These magicians were sending the dead out to cause insanity to loving people. So now they're at risk. They're at risk. Everything they're doing is seen. All this trickery is seen. They're not a peaceful person. You're not dealing with them anymore. You know the history of them. They took advice and they provided a service of trying to strip peace out of the world with tricks, with illusions, with brutality. So there's a celebration in the community. King of Cups is here. He's got his fortune, and he is separating out. He's separating out those who grew and those who did not grow. There's going to be two sides of this fence here, this light fence. And they're going to have to go deal with the ghosts that they made commitment, they made contracts with these ghosts. They owe these ghosts. It's like, you go haunt these people, we'll give you a clone body, and you can come and dance and sing and have fun in the world or whatever. I don't know what the hell they got going on. They're being displaced now. They're being displaced. They're being kicked out of your territory. They did not grow. The death magic is back on them. They're not partaking in any wedding. They're sick. They're not part of the bride of Christ or whatever. They're not part of the wedding. They don't get to go. They're not one of the chosen. They were a negative influence in the world. All they brought to the world was fear, and now that's back on them. It belongs to them. You're going in a new direction because the history shows that you have gained great insight and awareness, and you have gifts. You are a gift. Those who are curious about astral traveling, astral projecting, coming into your personal home without invitation to telepathically mess with you, they are resisting being released. But look, they're dominators. And it could be that they're being dominated right now with the vengeance of the Lord, and they're resisting. They're trying to fight it, survival. They got to go survive now. They got to go survive through a whole bunch of distractions while everything that they ever wanted or loved or needed is taken from them. You have freedom from this battle. You are an anomaly. You're seen very clearly. So these scavengers are in isolation They can't come into the community. They got to stay out. They got to stay by themselves. They got to go fight this battle on their own now. They got to go deal with the freaking nightmares of being energy harvested, of having their mind RAP'd, of having, you know, accidents and instability and disloyalty and solitude. And they got to do it at a distance. They got to stay far away from you and your balance. They're making preparations. Those who have upside down perspectives, those who are twisted and skewed and just messed up all the way, there's preparations being made. The divine stated that they would be the new fodder. They have nothing to offer anybody. So they got to be the new fodder. They're going to go through what you went through. They're going to get energy harvested. They're going to get their mind effed. They're going to have accidents. They're going to have instability. They may have homelessness. They may have to battle drug addictions and all this other stuff that they forced onto you. It's their stuff. They were projecting it out. And you're protected from this upheaval because you have soared. You have flown. You've flown. You're out of there. And these ones are getting warned. There's wrath here. There's wrath. They were warned that there would be wrath. They knew that if you survived, if one innocent one was left when the divine arrived, that they would save humanity, and there was innocence present here, even though they RAP'd the children, prostituted the essence of the womb of the mother, turned so many of the men into feminine energies. They twisted everything and everyone, and now they're going to get wrath. They're going to get wrath because they really went over the top. They thought they had it in the bag. They thought they were so mean and so cruel and so vicious that they really thought they could do it again. They're still thinking that, I believe, you know, with their nuclear fission and all of that. It's like they're talking about vaporizers and nuclear fission, and so it's like the sun is gonna, you know, I keep getting the idea that the sun is putting out extra electromagnetic frequency, which could be causing a disruption for the cyberware. That may be one reason why it's going so quiet. Or it could just be that the Hierophant is like, look, you're getting out of here. He's drawn the line. He's drawing the line. These ones have to go, and they're the new fodder. They have to go live. I don't know. I guess here or wherever. I don't know. There's apparently a universe where people will be tortured, and that's what the negative Nellies were saying. So I don't know. I haven't seen it. I did see that city though, where there were big tall buildings, but they were gray. It looked like death. It didn't look like there was any life in that city, and it was huge. We're already at an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here, everybody. I hope that this clarifies something that you already intuitively knew, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.